Greetings everyone, my name is Etterville, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Mega Man Maker. During the last part, I covered several of the submissions to Nature's Rat. So in this part, I'll be covering at least 4 or 5 more Veers made levels, starting up with this one. Nightman But Actually Good by T-Money, with 22 plays and a score of 0. As always, if you want one of your levels to be featured in a future part like this one, please leave both the level name and level ID either in the comment section below or direct message me on Twitter. Also, as always, the full disclaimer of this entire LP series is linked in the description below. Also in the description are the timestamps for all the levels I cover in these parts, so if you want to check if your level is covered, expand the description. I think this was submitted to the Retro Redux level design challenge, however I'm not sure. I would have preferred if the difficulty increases were a bit more gradual, especially with the conveyor belts over the spikes. Decent checkpoint placement, about where I'd put it. I knew there'd be a secret here. I would have expected the springs to be introduced in an earlier environment. However, we don't have the bouncy tiles in this engine yet. Well, this is neat. The Cyber Gabrioles can bounce on top of the springs, like the Tatahos can. Can't quite reach it. You know, it really seems there should be spikes down there. I presume this is the last third part of the stage, or the last section I mean, which combines usage of all the enemies and gimmicks we've seen so far. Those being the conveyor belts and the springs. It's really hard to deal with the brain breaks if they stand right on top of you. For this level, I wish I had access to a shield weapon. Made it after 3 failed attempts. It wasn't too bad though. The hardest part was that brain break and trying to jump onto the top conveyor belt. This stage's difficulty progression feels a bit off. The hardest part was right at the end of the first section, with all the conveyor belts and spikes nearby. This feels a lot easier. I'd reorder the sections of this level. As I was saying, this section was made to recreate the original crushing segment in Nightman's stage, as well as this section. Why thank you, that actually makes this segment a lot easier. And that's the end of the level. Even with that minor difficulty spike, I still find the end of the first section to be the hardest part, just before the first checkpoint. That should be moved to the end. As I said, I like this stage, though it could use some improvements. It's on the above average side of difficulty. Second up is Weapon Capsule Relay 15 by YouTube Social HD2 with 83 plays and a score of 30. So like the 14 other iterations in this series, if you watch enough of my LP series, you know the drill. 3 or 4 screens dedicated to the use of a particular special weapon before moving on to the next one, and every screen has a different aesthetic. When I say aesthetic, I mean background and foreground combination. That marks the end of this relay level. Third up is Sky Lagoon stage by Croby, with 40 plays and a score tree. It's going to be a shorter level, especially in comparison with its predecessor. I see what we're going for. This is a more gimmick-oriented level. And I immediately screwed this one up. Thank you, invisible ceiling. For a gimmick-oriented level, it isn't too bad. Gradually gaining more special weapons over time. This is demonstrating how to use the windstorm. Now we need to race after this. That was a rather easy race. And that's it, we're at the end of the level. A pretty simple level overall, as long as you know the timings. The hardest part was at the beginning. I'd move that challenge to the end of the level, all things considered. Nothing more to say about this stage other than I liked it more than its preceding stage, a cave leading to Sky Lagoon. Fourth up is Heart of Enker Retro Redux Challenge by Daibuman, with 59 plays and a score of 16. As the title states, this was a submission for the Retro Redux Level Design Challenge, which I will cover in the future after I complete all the submissions for the Nature's Wrath Level Design Challenge. I never played Enker's stage in Mega Man 10, so I'm not sure how faithful of a remake this is going to be. And that was my bad for not paying attention. The temporary pause when throwing the Shadow Blade when not jumping ended up causing me to take a hit there. I'll take the safe route here with the Rush Jet. I should have done that earlier as well. This is where I'll actually put the checkpoint as well. Good design, Daibuman. Once again, introducing an enemy in an isolated environment by itself, and then gradually combining with other gimmicks and enemies. Well, at least I saved myself there. At least I can circumvent all these with the Rush Coil and Rush Jet. Oh, how I really wish I'd access to sliding in this level. Second checkpoint. So we're either halfway through the level or in the last third of the level. This stage has a gradual escalation of difficulty in enemies, so it's well designed. A bit slow in terms of recombination and escalation though, but it's fine. Not all levels have to be that difficult. For instance, here we're now combining usage of the conveyor belts and the bend case. Now with the count bombs taking place over bottomless pits instead of spikes. If anything, most of the dangerous challenges in this stage have to deal with the platforming, not the enemies. A modified spike drop segment, which I immediately failed because there was too much to the left there. Let's try the spike drop segment again. The left route was actually a better one. And our boss is Skullman. This was a pretty decent traditional level. Nice difficulty curve and nice introduction of enemies, gimmicks, and mechanics, which are gradually combined at the end. Though not as difficult as I expected it to be, the hardest part was the platforming, not really the enemies. Fifth up is Sparkman's Power Plant Level Easy by Shaun Williams, with 9 plays and a score of -1. Because of the difficulty of this stage, I will be mostly silent, giving my final thoughts near the end. The hardest part of this level for me was actually this boss battle, until I realized I could just spam the Flash Stopper and destroy Sparkman rather easily, without worry of getting killed by the Force Beam. Compared with several of Shaun Williams' previous levels, this was relatively easy. The second part of the stage though, it's gonna be notably harder, at least according to the title. Sixth up is Reinforced Needling System by Lenny, with 18 plays and a score of 5. This stage is probably going to be at least 20 to 25 screens long. I think this was also a submission to the Retro Redux level design challenge, though I can't remember. Nice way of introducing the Hairy Harrys to the player. As well as the Metars and the cannons. Also notice I only started with special weapons from Mega Man 3. It isn't actually a spike pit, that's wonderful to see. Wait, are there split pathways here? I want to double check. Nope, there aren't. I'd wall it off just to make it clear to the player. Sadly, needle presses aren't part of the engine yet. I guess these Force Beam and Yoko Block combinations are a replacement for the needle presses. And our boss is Pharaohman, as we don't have Needleman in this engine yet. The weakness affiliation works in reverse. In the original game, I believe Snake Man was weak to the needle cannon. Overall, this was a decent remake of the original Needleman level. So the 7th and final level of this part is Elec Retro Redux version 2 by Unoriginal name, with 48 plays and a score of 20. Another level submitted for the Retro Redux level design challenge. And like before, we only have special weapons from Mega Man 1, where Elec hails from. Although the watchers here are a lot less threatening compared to Mega Man 1. As long as you stand still here, they cannot hit you. I'm not sure which is the better route to take. Just like in Elec Man's original level, we gain access to the magnet beam here. And just like at the original, there is a big guy guarding the door. At least this one's much more consistent. Can't forget that the boss corridors in Mega Man 1 actually have enemies in them. Instead of Elec Man, we have Spark Man. Thank goodness. Elec Man was a pain in Mega Man 1 due to the insane amount of damage he could do per hit. Although his AI patterns could be really easily broken if you knew what to do. So out of the 7 levels I played in this episode, my favorite level would be Nightman But Actually Good by Team Money, with an honorable mention going to Daibuman stage Heart of Enker Retro Redux Challenge. So in the next episode, I'll be covering several more viewer submitted levels. Thanks for watching and have a nice day. Toodles!